Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing a little bit of a different type of video. If you guys couldn't tell, think of this as something like Jay Schlatt's The Weekly Slap, if you're familiar with it, where I sit down and talk to you guys about something a bit more serious, more down to earth, with just some gameplay in the background. I don't know if this is going to have a series title or whatever, but yeah. And feel free to leave more questions or topics that you guys want me to talk about in the comments down below, and also use the comments as a friendly and conducive discussion environment. So, today's topic is going to be something that is affecting me at the moment. If you can tell by the title, burnout. So, for those of you who aren't familiar with the term burnout, it is a sort of tiredness, a sort of lack of motivation that comes from pushing yourself too hard. And I think this comes very frequently with people in creative fields, especially those who do it as a profession or full-time. I have experienced it multiple times in my life, many times in my life, as someone who has always studied to some capacity artistic education and had an artistic background. And it's never gonna get easier. You may find ways to burn out less, you may find ways to cope, but when burnout hits, when that sinking demotivation just hits you, it's very difficult to get over it. So at the moment, I'm feeling pretty demotivated. I haven't uploaded a video in a bit. I think it's only been about slightly more than a week, or about a week if you look at my shorts at this point, and I have streamed recently. But I consider this very unproductive for myself, especially because this is what I am doing full time at the moment. And I consider that to be kind of disappointing. I am disappointed in myself for not finding the motivation or the energy to do this. A lot of it stems from perfectionism. I think as a creative person, not just me, but a lot of us strive to achieve what we deem as good content, good art, whatever it is that you create. And sometimes if you don't live up to your own standards, if you start comparing yourself to other people, that can be very difficult. I have been struggling with that recently. A lot of people have been praising me for the videos that I make, but I don't see myself the same way. I don't see myself as someone who is good at what I do. And that's a hard thing to talk about. But I am okay, I think. I think I'm learning. And I'm young, I have a long way to go, and it's okay for me to not be completely satisfied with the things that I create, and it's hard to admit that, but, you know, just have to get used to it. But that is one of the reasons I am burnt out recently. If anyone else is feeling the same way, I just want you to know that the things that you create, the art that you create, the music you create, the whatever it is that you are creating, hey, you're creating it. You're making something. You're putting effort into something that you are making with your own hands, with your own mind, with your ideas and your skills. And that is a very admirable thing. Not a lot of people even have the guts to put in that kind of effort to do something like that, so I think you should be applauded for that. Another reason that I've been feeling burnout recently is just overworking myself. I don't think I've necessarily overworked myself in the traditional ways. Definitely not the way a lot of people that I know who do content creation are overworking themselves, because I have so many friends who are doing so much more than I am. I mean, I don't have a job. I'm not going to school, and I have friends who are doing so much, and I think that is so commendable, but I have to admit that I may have overextended myself to some extent. I think a lot of it comes down to my personal life and the things that have been happening in my personal life that have led to me overworking myself, which I am not comfortable with sharing, but that's okay. I know a lot of people deal with things in their own life that are harder to deal with than just going to school every day or going to work every day. I've dealt with that for many years now. And the fact that, well, this is for anyone who is also struggling. The fact that you are still here and that you are doing your greatest to get through this moment of time, that's enough for me. I think you're doing great. And I want you to carry on because there's a long way for you to go. I've also kind of gotten really tired just from going outside. I have symptoms of ASD. I haven't been diagnosed with it, but there are definitely things that I resonate with, such as this inability to be social for long periods of time, and an inability to step out of my comfort zone. And Sky visited me. For those of you who don't know, my good friend Sky visited me for the first time. We saw each other in person for the first time, and it was great. I love Sky. Sky's amazing. But Sky also dragged me outside way more than I usually do in my normal life. I don't think I've left the house since Sky has left. And those few days that Sky was around really took my social battery out, and I had an amazing time, but that has also led me to really need to recuperate. But we did have a whole ton of fun. If you guys want to check out some of the things that we did, you can go over to Sky's Twitch channel. We did a baking stream. I still have pieces of that cake in my fridge. Not saying it's inedible, but there is a reason that it is still sitting in that Tupperware. But yeah, those are some of the reasons I've been feeling burnt out recently. And I think that burnout is just your mind and your body's sign of, it's its way of telling you that you need to stop and take a breath, have a moment to think, or to breathe. If you're overextending yourself and pushing yourself too hard for unachievable goals, your body and your mind will tell you that you need to take a moment. Your body does the same thing to you if you've exercised too much, if you'll get an injury if you exercise too much, if you are shouting too much, talking too much, you get a sore throat. This is just your body's natural way of telling you that you gotta take a moment. And I think burnout is that same thing, and it feels horrible the same way an injury does or a sickness does. But, that's what happens when you really need a moment. And I think if someone out there is also feeling the same way that I am, the best thing you can do is take a break. And I know it's not always possible, especially if you are working and you can't stop. But I urge you to do your best. In those moments that you have spare time, get some good sleep. Treat yourself. Do things that make you feel better about yourself again, that feel confident about yourself. For example, I'm thinking of dyeing my hair, which I finally have the chance to do, because I'm not in school anymore and I don't have a dress code or a uniform. And I know that I'm doing things to help myself with this. I am taking a kind of a step back from making content, no matter how much I don't want to. I have been trying for a few days to come up with ideas. I recorded a whole video last night that I'm not happy with, so I'm scrapping it. I have been making content. I've been making an effort. But this video is my signal to stop. My signal to myself that I need to take a moment. And my signal to anyone out there who needs to take a breath and take a break. I want you all to know that whatever it is you're feeling right now, burnout or stress or anxiety, depression, I want you to know that you're not alone. It might feel like it, but you aren't. There will be people out there who care about you, and there are people out there who have felt the same way that you do, and they made it out alive, and so you will too. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. It's not something that I usually talk about in my personal... No, not what? Huh? It's not the kind of topics that I usually talk about on my channel. You know, I try to make my channel very family friendly and stuff, but I think sometimes these things need to be talked to, and this is still family friendly. I mean, I think a lot of young people need to hear this. So yeah, thank you for watching. Give me more questions or topics you want me to talk about in the comment section below, and I'll see you all next time. This is Ghost Dog signing out. Goodbye.